How y'all doing? This is Kenny from the Walking Dead game. Well, actually, it's Gavin Hammond. I played him in the game, but it's not important. The important thing is you're listening to The Gaming Outsider.
Welcome to the Gaming Outsider podcast. It's Zack, Jacob, Alyssa, and I this week, and we're answering video game-related questions from the community, as well as some other questions. In news, Ubisoft announced the closure of the game X Defiant, as well as some of its offices. New games discussed include Neon Blood and Voidwrought. Also, Mark stops by to talk about a snowboarding game called Slopecrashers, and Paul Hine from the community played a game called Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. This is the Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to the Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community, which can be found at thegamingoutsider.com, facebook.com/groups/thegocast, and even our Discord server. There's a link for that in the show notes of this very episode. It is Tuesday, December 3rd. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my good friends, Mr. Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
Scott, you made it.
I did. I told everybody last week I wasn't going to be here, and I was able to make it. Hope that's okay.
You couldn't resist the siren call of the Gaming Outsider.
I felt really bad that I wasn't going to be here, and so I decided to make it.
Right.
So
much to somebody else's chagrin.
Yeah. Speaking of, Jake Gunderson, how you doing, man?
Scott, you made it.
He sounds slightly less enthused.
I think Jake wanted to host. What's going on?
No, I couldn't do that opener as well as you can.
Well, yeah,
sure
you can.
I would fumble that so hard.
Also joining us, Miss Alyssa White. It's been a while. How you doing, Alyssa?
It's good to be back after a month, so it's nice to see all you guys and to see Jacob, face to virtual face for the first time ever.
Phooey.
I mean,
my face is nothing to behold.
You got a good face, Jacob. Don't say that.
Bad face.
But we learned Alyssa's a good liar.
I'm not lying. I'm not going to tell someone they have a good face if they don't have a good face. I just won't say anything.
Stop it. Your lies hurt.
We're going to have to redo that whole F, Marry, Kill thing now that Jake's been on the show a little bit more regularly.
And I'm single now.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only single one. So
oh boy.
I'm the only one that's safe.
Yeah.
Huh. All right.
Well, before this conversation turns to the gutter.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some of the games we've been catching up on. And Alyssa, you've been gone the longest, so let's hear what you've been playing.
Well, I finally beat Silent Hill 2 Remake, and
Nice.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. That prison section really tested me.
In what way? Oh, okay.
But also, it was just nerve shredding with all the enemies around, and you start to run low on ammo and syringes, and I called them kombuchas because it looked like kombucha bottles. There's that health drink, whatever.
Right.
I'm like, my kombucha. Like, I need more.
It's so dark in the prison.
It is. It felt like that was the longest part to me, even though I don't think it was.
Has to be the hospital.
I mean, I would say my ending, the name of the ending I got, but I mean, I don't think it'd be spoilerish.
You can say the name of it for sure.
I got the in-water ending.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
I'm not sure how I did it. I know there's
Yeah.
you have to do certain things like in a criteria to get the different endings, but
yeah,
I enjoyed it though.
Is this like a heavy rain situation where everybody gets a different ending and then you have those water cooler moments and you talk about it, or?
Probably.
I haven't played it yet.
I think they added, was it 2 new endings or 4 to this? There's something like that.
Yeah, I don't remember either. No, well, unlike Heavy Rain though, the story makes sense by the end.
It does.
So that's pretty nice.
You guys have sold me on this. My copy actually showed up in the mail today. I bought it on a Black Friday sale, so that is my plan for Christmas break.
You say you better get cracking. December is going to end before you know it.
I know.
It took me about 15, 16 hours to complete, just to give you a heads up.
Nice.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. What else you been checking out?
I've also been playing Astrobot again. I took a break when I started playing Silent Hill, mainly because I was stuck. I'm no longer stuck on that section anymore, but I'm stuck again.
Oh yeah.
Like, I want to love Astrobot as much as you do, Scott, because I know you gave it a perfect 10 out of 10, but I'm just not a platforming person. So I love the PlayStation aspects of Astrobot, and it's beautiful to look at, it's adorable, but the platforming drives me nuts. Like, I do not have fun with the platforming.
Oh really?
And that's why I'm stuck, because there's a certain platforming section, and I tried it so many times today and couldn't get past it. So
Which
I
one
quit.
was it?
It's on. I'm only on the second planet.
Uh-huh.
It's when you get the elephant add-on or whatever you want to call it. I can't think of the word. The elephant tool where you suck up the goo and you can make platforms out of flowers and stuff. That part, there's a certain section where there are hovering platforms, but then you have to time it correctly with jumping, making a platform, going to the other platform in the sky. I just couldn't do it, so I rage quit.
Oh no!
Which means I'll have to restart the planet if I dive back in. But
it's fascinating to think of somebody rage quitting such a game that I found peaceful and charming.
Yes,
I'm not good at platformers.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not. I wasn't trying to slap you down. It was just a fascinating thing to think about. But I mean, that power up is definitely like if you're not attuned to platformers, I could see how that would be a tricky one.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me personally, but again, I know a lot of people love platformers, and this is probably like super easy for them, but I'm just struggling over here with it. So,
I mean, it's no Mario Galaxy 2, but it's not.
It's close,
easy.
Man. I think it might.
Yeah. No, I'm saying.
You mean in terms of difficulty?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, some of those bonus stages are certainly tough, but
I was going to say you're not going to like the sacred symbols bonus levels, Alyssa. If that's the case.
I don't know if I don't know if I'll finish the game, to be honest. I mean, that'd be a waste, but I like certain aspects and I don't like certain aspects, so I'm very torn like about whether to continue or not. But
well, I mean, you don't even have to. I guess if that level is like one of the ones that opens up other branching levels, but like I feel like it's not a game that you have to get everything in. You can just kind of go to the next level, but man, you have to see the end of World 2 and World 3. Like after you beat the bosses, like those are just some magical moments. I know Jake actually picked up the game within the past week or two, right, Jake?
Yeah.
Jake was texting me, giddy with excitement about playing this game. And you had quite an accomplishment in a pretty short amount of time, Jake. You want to share?
Oh, I mean, I played it I put 17 hours into it and platinumed it.
Oh, wow.
And then I don't know why, but I wanted to just play more, so I went back into the time trials, the ones that I hate, and did all those ones too. So
you did?
I was making my wife very nervous because I started screaming at one point because it was the speedrunning challenges are based on the backpacks that you get, and the one that I was having the hardest difficulty was the monkey backpack because you have to grab to the bananas and you have to move the controller up, left and right to use the different arms. And at some point I was just like, how in the hell do these people get so fast in this game with these arms? And I eventually did it, but it was I took a breather and stepped back for a moment and then went back to it and then I finally got it. But man, it was hard.
Yeah, Jake doesn't usually text me that excited. He's just like, dude.
To be fair, I was finishing the first galaxy and I was having a blast with that level. And I've gone back and played that level just because I can't find my original PlayStation for some reason. But I found the copy of Ape Escape, but I cannot find my original PlayStation.
No! With the new update, you can turn your PS5 into an original PlayStation.
Really?
I turned mine into a PS2.
Oh, guess what's gonna? Oh, you mean the skins? Oh,
the 30th.
I got so excited.
Well, you could play games like Ape Escape on your PS5, and you could have the PS1 boot up sound going with it, and then it'll be.
I turned it into
like
a PS2.
Yeah, mine's a PS3.
I don't remember the PS3 startup at all.
Well, the startup I think is always the PS1.
Yeah,
but I like I love the ticking sound of the cross media bar on PS3.
Yeah,
and you can have that back, so it sparks joy.
Nice. Speaking of, today, actually, as of this recording, is the 30th anniversary of the original PlayStation.
Yes. Love
it.
Hey.
Pouring out for PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alyssa, what else you been playing?
I've also been playing Life is Strange Double Exposure, which probably should be no surprise to anyone that knows me. It's an Alyssa game. I've played every single Life is Strange game to date, and I'm really enjoying it. It is more, I wouldn't say puzzle heavy, but in this, you're playing again as Max Caulfield from the first game. And this time, instead of having the rewind mechanic, where if you made a mistake or you wanted to make a different decision, you could rewind time, this one has parallel universes, so you're jumping back and forth between these two universes, and it requires you, like, you're in one universe, and maybe you're trying to hear a conversation, but the people know you're listening. Well, then you have to go into the other universe and use a pulse technique to kind of highlight their shadows, and you can then hear their conversation in the other universe and then go back to that universe and continue. So it's got more of that kind of element to it than the first game did, but I'm still enjoying it, and I just like being back in the Life is Strange universe.
Do they address, are the parallel worlds the two different endings of Life is Strange 1?
No.
Okay.
So one ending is completely just not there anymore. So if you made the decision to have that one certain ending, then they went with one concrete ending from one. So if you made the decision with the other one, it's totally out the window.
Fascinating. Is the person alive or dead?
Dead.
Okay. I feel like I can, I don't know, I'm not trying to spoil anything, anybody who's beaten the game would know. That's crazy. Yeah, interesting.
It is crazy. So, like, if you didn't play that ending, you're going to be completely lost when you start this one?
I mean, you won't be lost, you'll just realize they didn't go with that ending, and you'll be like, well, that was for nothing.
Right.
That decision I made.
Yeah.
Interesting. And it is Hannah Tell playing.
It is, yes.
Yeah, that's awesome that she was able to come back for that, so.
How do you feel, Alyssa, about Max coming back after all this time?
I personally really like it. I like having the character come back, and she doesn't really seem like the Max from the previous game. She's grown up and matured, which would make sense, and I think they've done a really good job in that aspect.
Okay.
Nice. Jake, what about you, man? What have you been playing?
Oh, so anybody who knows, well, I guess not me, but so I switched back. I don't have a setup for the recording of yet. I'm cleaning out a room to specifically have my stuff in it so I can actually record in peace for once and not be in this room. But I moved my computer from room to room, and so after last week's recording, I was playing Astrobot, so I left my computer downstairs. So this is the first day in probably a week that I fired up my computer. I played Astrobot, and then I went on to look at the other games I had on my PlayStation, and I remember that Diablo 4 had a huge update recently, and so I went back and played that for a little bit. I say a little bit, but I played it for 3 days. Yeah, time slips away sometimes. But they brought in a lot of aspects that came from Diablo 3, and they have a new I say update, but they have a new expansion of the game that was just released. And it goes, the expansion is $60, and I did not want to drop $60 on a game that I wasn't entirely sure that I was going to like again. But the game seems to have done some growth since the last time, added a couple of new features, that quality of life features that make it nice for the players. They've completely destroyed all of the gear before the update by labeling them legacy items, and they are a lot weaker than the new items that come out, and so you eventually just phase them out, and then they're gone forever. You can't do anything with them anymore, so just out. So I guess fundamentally the game hasn't changed, but a lot of the things that you were doing previously in game to get stronger has completely changed, and so you have to go back and kind of change all that stuff. If your character was over a certain level, they knocked the level down to 50, and then you have to level it back up to 60, which is the new cap, and then you have to go through the Paragon points and level up that way. So it was kind of frustrating at first to see that my character had lost like 15 levels, but
yeah,
once you get back into it, I mean, you level up rather quickly. They've changed it, and they've added new difficulty levels. Once you get to a certain area, you can go through and beat them. But yeah, it's starting to be really reminiscent of Diablo 3, and so
which I know you loved,
right? And so I'm getting my wife back into it again.
Nice.
So they had to fix the loot problems in Diablo 3, and now again they have to fix the loot problems in Diablo 4.
They tried to change it so much in a different way. They were trying to make it so they were trying to make you play more with random drops, and so when they realized that wasn't working, they pulled it back to the Diablo 3, because I don't know how much you guys have played Diablo 3, but they had a system in there where you could pull legendary effects off items and save them for later. 4 had it, but you could only save one item, or you would get like a scroll, and the scroll saved the power on it, and you could only have basically one use of that scroll when you changed over the powers. And so you'd have to go find that power in the world again to put it on a new weapon. And so you were constantly farming for items and materials and stuff to make sure that you had the powers that you wanted in your inventory, which took up space, which just didn't make sense, because eventually you just filled your space up with powers that you wanted to save for later. And so they got rid of all of that, and now it's the same thing with a level up system that 3 was, where as you destroy the legendary powers, they become stronger in your inventory, so they're better when you put them on a new piece of gear. And
gotcha.
So yeah, it's gone back to Diablo 3 a lot more than what it was. So it kind of feels better, but I'm still leery about dropping another $60 on DLC for the game.
And that's not included in Game Pass, I assume?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Yeah.
The DLC, no way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Zach, what about you, sir?
I finally, after a few months off, jumped back into Kingdom Come Deliverance, and the first quest I did, I got high on some ointment and had to use my lockpicking skills to take the clothes off of other women who were there who were also high, because they were trying to commune with the devil. And then I had relations with them, and then killed what I thought were demons, but were actually just local woodcutters, and then had to go confess my sins to a priest. So Kingdom Come rules is what I'm getting at.
I mean, women do that already, so I mean, they released our secrets.
Commune with the devil.
I was going to say it was just another Friday night, right?
That's right. Yeah, Henry of Scallots lives quite a life. But yeah, I'm trying to get through this for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 coming out in February, which is scary close at this point.
Yeah.
But this game is amazing. What a fun way to be welcomed back to the world. And then I played a few hours since then, and I just like the routine of sharpening my swords and going out to battle, and just all the immersion details that go on. Like when I show up for an important meeting and I get shooed away because I'm too dirty.
Oh, that happens to me all the time too.
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't that a thing in Red Dead Redemption 2? Like you had to bathe, otherwise you would like have collecting flies and stuff.
You could, but it's not. You would never get turned away for being dirty.
In Deadly Premonition, though, you could have body odor. You could see waves of body odor coming off the character if you didn't bathe him. So.
And he had to shave in that game too, right?
Yeah, because if you didn't, then you get your pay cut. Like you had to be clean shaven.
Yeah, I gotta play Deadly Premonition. I'm missing out.
So good.
I've never played it either.
Collect all these flies.
It's so bad, it's good. Like, I don't know. I love that game.
And then otherwise, Sonic Cross Shadow Generations.
I'm intrigued.
Pick that up on the old Black Friday sale. Dude, I mean, so I played through the Shadow campaign because obviously you would start with the best, and then you would slum it with Sonic afterwards.
We're so sorry, Kevin.
But if you played Sonic Generations, right, it's just kind of a greatest hits album of Sonic levels from across his different games up to that point. And Shadow Generations is much the same here. And it's all building up to Radical Highway, which is obviously the best Shadow level. Everybody knows that. But they do. But in Sonic, to get to the different levels, right, Sonic Generations, you would just go left and right and then pick the level you want. In Shadow Generations, there's kind of like a hub world that has a lot of kind of gear-gated stuff. You're getting a new ability after every after every level, and but so you'll be able to traverse water or whatever. But it makes exploring that hub a lot of fun and kind of reminiscent of Sonic Frontiers, though a little sloppier, I would say. But I mean, it's just it's a ton of fun. It only took like 3 or 4 hours to beat.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is Sonic Generations is about 3 or 4 hours too, and I'm about halfway through that now. Afterwards, because I may as well. But the Shadow Generations was a blast. Had a nice little, a surprising little emotional story in there for what is basically a greatest hits compilation. But it's got so many fun levels that you would want. I mean, it's a very good Sonic entry, and these 2 games. Technically, you're getting 2 games with the kind of equate to probably the length of one normal game. So definitely worth picking up.
Do you know if there's any tie to the upcoming film, or was that just
Well, I know they're doing a Keanu voiced DLC pack in a few weeks. So there's that.
That's rad.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be a tie. But I mean, it kind of retouches on the Maria and Gerald Robotnik story, which is part of Shadow's origin, which will play obviously a very large role in the upcoming motion picture.
I need to go back and rewatch the first 2 because I'm pretty.
I still
stoked
haven't
for
seen
that
the second one, but
I've seen half of it.
It's good.
Yeah, I've heard. I own it. I just I don't know. I fell asleep or whatever because I was trying to watch it while I was going to sleep, and then just never went back to it. And I gotta go do that. Got some time coming up, but as for me, I finished a couple games this week. I can't remember if I talked last week about finishing Shadows of the Damned. I did finish that.
I think you did. Yeah, you mentioned this.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
And I also finished Kong Survivor Instinct, which, man, I really like that game.
Yeah, how did you feel? You continue to like it to the end?
I mean, I enjoyed the gameplay. They do this whole thing at the end where like your gear is just gone. They do a Metroid thing.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of liked it because it was like it just became about the experience of what was happening, but the ending was so weak to me.
It's very abrupt, right?
It's very abrupt and it's very telegraphed, like the entire game.
Oh well,
like
if you're talking about the twist, yeah.
Yeah, there's this twist that I don't know why it was a twist because I felt like it was just so in your face obvious, but they tried to play it off like it was a surprise. And I didn't notice until I was finishing the second half of this game how much the voice actor that the main character is also some of the other henchmen like you mentioned last week.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that is just blatantly obvious.
But don't you love how he does it? Like, this is his normal voice, and then this is the mercenary version. Yeah.
It's really funny, but still enjoyed that game. I feel like that game got a bad rap, and it's genuinely a lot of fun.
Right. It's just like a nice, fun weekend kind of game.
Yeah.
I'm upset because I should have a platinum trophy in it, but there's some trophy that's bugged because there's a trophy for getting every log, and I have, if you go into my inventory, I have every single log. But the game disagrees.
I'm missing one, and there's way too much other stuff to clean up to bother with getting 1,000. So
it was a nice thing for me to do while I had a fever. Was trying to find hidden stuff in Kong Survivor Instinct.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better now, man.
Me too.
And just because it annoys Jacob every time I mention it, I got to talk about Balatro for a second. I did unlock the.
I was playing cards again.
I unlocked the last deck. It took me like 3 weeks.
It's a momentous occasion, Jacob.
Yeah.
Why can't you just go to the casino and lose money like the rest of us?
Because this doesn't cost me money. I don't have to. I did go to the casino, by the way. I went to the local casino and.
Oh, you went there for somebody else's birthday. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Broke even. I was pretty excited. So.
I mean, casinos are illegal here where I am, so I can't go to the casino. So.
Okay.
Rockford's trying to be a casino town. Seems like.
Yeah. I mean, the video, it's really deceptive when you drive into a place and it says video gaming here. And I'm like, what? And then you go in and it's just slot machines. And I'm like, God.
Yeah. Fast and loose.
Anyway, now that I have that under my belt, I can start going up and cleaning up some of the easier stuff and work my way up till it gets really, really difficult. I would love to 100% this game But there's just so much stuff to do. I just don't even know.
You could do it over years. You could just keep coming back to Balatro.
I could.
Just keep letting Jake know where you're at
Yeah.
throughout the years.
Just my Balatro update.
You love that. Oh, yeah. Do we have a Baldur's Gate update this week?
No, I did not get a chance to play. I had a time scheduled, and something came up with two of us, so we were not able to get together and play. So I apologize, but they did add cross-play support this past weekend in an update. So,
right.
I'm sensing another playthrough with people at some point because there's a lot of people that haven't played it yet. I know David Newman from the community recently picked it up, and he and a buddy and Spencer are all going to be playing through that together. And I said, dude, at this rate, you probably beat it before I do. He's like, no, we only play like for 2 hours at a time. I'm like, dude, you're not going to play that game for 2 hours at a time. You're not going to. But
not get anything done.
Nah, probably not. But anyway,
one day I'll play that.
I know you will. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You want to hear my weekly updates?
Yeah, dude, it's going to be awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Got some news stories here for you. Gearbox let a terminally ill cancer patient play Borderlands 4 early. Delisting of games sure isn't making a case for digital gaming. Some news over there. Witcher 4 is happening, and CD Projekt Red is promising that fans won't be disappointed. Ubisoft's X-Defiant is shutting down, and it's worse than it sounds. So, let's see, Alyssa, you've been gone. I'm going to let you take first crack. What story you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Gearbox letting a terminally ill cancer patient play Borderlands 4 early.
All right, go ahead.
So, 37-year-old Caleb McAlpine was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. He's been given 7 to 12 months to live, but could live up to 2 years if chemo works. He's also a huge Borderlands fan and posted on Reddit saying how he would love to visit Gearbox and play the latest entry of the series. And Gearbox actually responded and flew him and a friend first class to tour the studio, play the current build of the game, and also tour Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah, kind of stuff is always cool. I wonder how early the build was and how much of it he got to see. And if he had to sign an NDA, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I would assume too. But I mean, just, flying in first class and touring the stadium, everything. I mean, that's just it's a feel-good story besides the cancer part.
Right.
Do we know, was he terminally ill before or after playing Borderlands? Because sometimes when I play it, I'm ready to get out.
I was gonna say after the bad news with 3, 4 just killed him.
Right.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Sorry. But
I was trying to be cheery with that one, but then you guys
very happy,
made it dark.
Very happy for Caleb, but if I was dying, the last thing I would want to do is hang out with Claptrap. But I think,
Borderlands.
It is nice of Gearbox to do this. Do you think Randy Pitchford did magic tricks for him? Almost certainly, right?
What is he known for doing magic tricks?
Oh my god, yeah. You've never read any stories about Randy Pitchford? The guy's obsessed with magic.
No, I had no idea.
Didn't his Twitter or username relate to magic somehow?
I think so.
I can't remember what it was, but
famously, when he lost that USB drive at Medieval Times that had a bunch of porn on it. You remember this?
No.
You guys remember this story? Man, you guys got to keep up on Randy Pitchford's life, apparently.
Why would you carry porn around on a
USB drive?
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Because he practices magic.
Yeah, well, that was his excuse, is that he's
Hocus pocus.
What they were doing was so much like a magic trick. That was his defense.
Mm.
In what capacity?
Dude, I don't know. It's really
That's
funny.
a weak excuse.
Dude, I don't know. You guys should listen to that interview. It's pretty delightful.
I may have to look that up.
I have so many things to say, and I can't say any of them.
Well, you know what you can say, Jake, is what story you'd like to talk about.
Oh man, the one that I want to talk about is the big one. But I mean, okay, fine. We'll do the delisting of video games.
Oh, that's the big one?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
It's the big one for Jake.
What would you think the big one is? Please tell me.
Well, we'll find out when we get there.
No.
No, as for now, we're going to talk about delisting. We're going to talk
I like that. Noah!
Anyway, so yeah, there's a bunch of companies that are delisting video games as of now. What is it? Motorsports games. All those NASCAR games are getting delisted. About 10 of them. There's Square Enix is getting rid of Triangle Strategy, except that one's supposed to be a temporary. I don't know if they're changing producers or.
I think it's because Nintendo published it in America originally, and I think
that's what I was thinking of, the publisher. I couldn't think of publisher,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, there was another Square Enix game that they changed publishers for, and then it went back on there, but it took like 6 weeks for them to do. And then Sega announced that as of December 6th, they're removing close to almost 70 titles from all platforms.
Well, like digitally? Like
Yeah. My count, I stopped counting around 50, but there was still almost like 2 pages of titles left. And most of it's Steam, but
do we think that's because Sega's going to do some kind of compilation re-release of those games?
I have no idea. I know that they were a lot of them were part of their Sega Generations app that they have. It is basically almost like a 3-dimensional world that you're put into like a child's room, and then you have the Sega systems in front of you, and then when you like click on them, you choose what game you want, and then it zooms up to the screen, and then you start playing it. And so they kind of had their own little system doing it. So unless they're going to release a system or make a new system to have those games on, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I said this when I introduced this story, but it sure is not making a case for buying games digitally. I guess if you buy them, you still get them, but you won't be able to re-download them at some point.
There's a lot of games that are on the list that I've been kind of sitting on, waiting for them to be at different points, and so tomorrow I'm going to get back on Steam and go through and buy them. I think there's like 7 or 8 on my list that I need to buy.
Are they discounted, or are they still full price?
I don't care. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Well, I would like to have access to them because some of the games I didn't have access to. Comic Zone is one of them. I have access to that. I have it on the Genesis, but I would just like it at my fingertips. Vectorman is another one that I would like to get, even though I have that one. But there's a game called Rystar that I have not seen since I was a very small child, and have not even been able to ever find it anywhere for sale. And I didn't know it was on Steam until I saw this list, and so I will be going and getting that immediately.
I know Vectorman just dropped on Nintendo Switch Online as well recently. So I don't know if you...
And now they're going to get rid of it.
Yeah, right. Let's talk quickly about Witcher 4. I think we all kind of assumed...
Oh, that's the big one? Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't say it was a big one.
Oh, you said when you start to talk, we'd figure it out.
Delisting games sucks. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I agree.
True.
That's my contribution.
CD Projekt Red is promising that Witcher 4 is fans will not be disappointed in it. They've been
luckily CD Projekt Red always follows through on their promises right away.
Well, that's why this is an interesting story, right? Because they've been silent about any story details or release date on this, and coming off of the heels of Cyberpunk 2077, is that what it? Yeah, 2077,
Yes.
which we all remember the abysmal launch of that game, and then it wound up being people's favorite games of the year, and
Best
anyway,
ongoing game at the Game Awards.
Yep.
I was going to say, after the rework.
Yeah, that DLC release with Idris Elba.
and I still haven't played it. I still haven't played that game.
Yeah.
Anyway, Charles Tremblay, the VP of Technology, was quoted to say, "The next game we do will not be smaller and will not be worse. It will be better, bigger, greater than The Witcher 3. It will be better than Cyberpunk because for us, it's unacceptable to launch so abysmally. We don't want to go back," unquote. He's obviously referring to that train wreck that we talked about. And he went on to say, even if there will be some, quote, sweaty moments and maybe even some bad stuff happening, I think that we will try everything we can to make it even more than what we achieved in the past years. So, I mean, this is kind of a nothing burger in terms of, the fact that it is happening, but I think we all kind of assumed it was happening. But of course they're going to say that it's going to be bigger and better and not have the same problems that the last one did. But hopefully they've learned from their mistakes there. I'm just glad to see that the series is still alive because I know people love it.
Right. Well, I mean, they said before that Witcher 4 was coming. It was they kind of announced that when everyone was mad at them for Cyberpunk to try to do a
Yeah.
little damage control. But if anybody out there, you should not trust them. Right? They launched the game so catastrophically broken that both PlayStation and Xbox took it off of their store, which I've never seen them agree on something like that. You know, and it was, and remember, like Best Buy was selling copies for like $5 at the time because nobody would buy it because it was so broken. Like it's quite possibly the most disastrous launch in video game history. So why in the world would you buy their game right away?
Concord.
Well, Concord worked.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is people are still going to buy it. Like, it's just not
right away. Day one, minute one. Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's, you know, people like the other stuff, so they're just going to assume it's all is well. But, yeah. It's crazy how we reward bad behavior in this industry, isn't it?
It's our nation's favorite pastime.
The unfortunate the unfortunate part is the payment comes before the behavior. So like you pre-order, you buy the game, blah blah blah, all this nonsense. Then you get it home, and then you find out how bad it is, and then you can take it back for a refund. Hopefully you get a full refund, but they still got their money. You know,
right?
Do you think they have the balls to do like a special edition, you know, $300 version with the statues and all that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah,
course, yeah.
They did it with The Witcher 3.
Oh yeah.
Which I have that edition, by the way.
You had the one with him in the bathtub?
I don't have that one, sadly, but I do have one where he's killing the griffin.
Okay.
Yeah, there'll be like a $200 launch one with a statue and all that nonsense probably again. And again, they're gonna get their money, and that's gonna be the end of it. And it doesn't matter if it comes out bad or not, but it just sucks.
Right.
Yeah.
It does suck.
Zack,
I mean,
there's one story left.
Cyberpunk does look cool at this point, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't begrudge anybody for loving it. It's just, why would you trust that company? I mean, congratulations. They cleaned up the poop they made. They cleaned up the dump they took in your living room, but I don't really know if that's... I don't know if I would trust them to eat chili at my house again.
Wow, what an analogy.
So lovely.
It's all over the walls.
Right.
Ugh.
But over the course of 4 years, they did clean up the living room, so that's nice of them.
Over
for 4 years.
You gotta live with that smell.
Right. Anyway, are you talking about this? Ubisoft's X Defiant is shutting down?
Yeah.
And it's worse to sound. This is breaking news, right? It's coming in red hot.
Yep.
Yeah, right before we started recording.
Right. So Marie Sophie de Wilbur?
Mm-hmm.
Wilbur?
Chief Studios and Portfolio Officer at Ubisoft said this in an email to staff today. Despite an encouraging start, the team's passionate work and a committed fan base, we've not been able to attract and retain enough players in the long run to compete at this level we aim for in the very demanding free-to-play first-person shooter market. As a result, the game is too far away from reaching the results required to enable further significant investment, and we are announcing that we will be sunsetting it. Concretely, that means as of today, new downloads, player registrations, and purchases will no longer be available, which that's wild. You're just not allowed to play. Season 3 will still launch, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025, out of appreciation for both our developer teams who worked on it and the X Defiant's active players, end quote. Boy, there's a lot going on there, huh?
Yeah. And that's not all. It gets worse.
Right. Because not only that, but Ubisoft's shutting down the San Francisco studios and scaling back at their Sydney production site. So 287 people lost jobs. The executive producer for X Defiant said that any purchases made within the last 30 days will be automatically refunded within 8 weeks. Also, those who purchase the Ultimate Founders Pack will receive a full refund. How kind of them. Season 3 is still going to happen, but you can't buy anything. And again, the servers are up till June 3rd. Yeah, pretty wild story, especially since like a few weeks ago, their creative director was like, "The game's fine. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So I think he might have been lying, or somebody was lying to him, maybe. But
I just think it's funny that we're gonna reward those that got in early, and everybody that got in after. 30 days. If you bought anything in the last 30 days, it's refunded. but anything prior to that, you're out.
Right.
Mm.
Well, I'm sure Ubisoft already spent that money.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2, right? Somebody's got to pay
Right.
for that.
Or fixing that game, that Star Wars game they launched several months ago.
Which people are
Also,
saying is
yeah.
awesome, by the way, now.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
After a
It is-
patch.
It's really nice of all these companies to fix their games after they get your money.
Mhm.
It's very, how sweet of them, really.
I mean, it's better than not.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
Sure.
they could launch not broken.
Right. That is one strategy.
Play test their games enough. Yeah, that's a revolutionary idea.
I think
Imagine
this-
not knowingly ripping off your customers. Wouldn't that be a fun twist on things?
Right?
Be a real treat.
Oh no. We
I
didn't
found-
know the game was this bad. I'm sorry, Scott. You go.
I'm just trying to cut
Go
you guys
ahead.
off, apparently. I just find this story interesting because I feel like people have been starting to spell Ubisoft's doom for a while now. You know, with everything that's been going on in Star Wars being the latest before this news to be negative. You know, granted they fixed Star Wars, but I don't know, they're such a massive giant, and I feel like we're not getting as many big releases from them that we used to. And some of
Yeah,
the
that's
things
true.
that they have been, you know, we haven't had Far Cry 6 was what, 3 years ago at this point? 3 or 4 years ago?
Is that really? Oh my god. It hasn't felt that long.
Maybe I'm...
But I think it's been 2 years?
Mhm.
Maybe 3?
But I mean, all the stuff that people want them to do, they just either delayed really long, like Prince of Persia, Sands of Time remake,
Mhm.
or
Forgot about that.
haven't
Or the
even, like, people
Splinter Cell remake.
yeah, Splinter Cell. Like, everybody wants that, and I feel like that would really help out, but for whatever reason, those are being delayed. So, what do you guys think? Is the future of Ubisoft in jeopardy? I mean, obviously these studios are gone, but Ubisoft as a whole, where do you think they stand?
So just
think
an
there's-
FYI, Far Cry 6 released in 2021.
Okay, so 3 years, yeah.
Yeah,
I think Assassin's Creed Shadows has a hell of a lot of pressure on it.
that's a
Oh,
good
it
point.
definitely does.
Because I feel like that if that game doesn't hit, yeah, they're in trouble.
I mean, it's
Right?
Assassin's Creed. It's gonna do fine.
I don't know. I mean, will it? I mean, it's in a very busy February.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. They pushed that back. It was supposed to be out like by now, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Originally.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I wouldn't have assumed a Star Wars game would bomb, but their Star Wars game bombed.
Yeah.
That's true.
So anything is possible. Assassin's Creed does not feel like a guaranteed hit. And you know, almost everything that people are talking about in the news is negative for ill intent or not. So I don't know, but you're right. It is Assassin's Creed. The fans will show up. I just wonder, will it be enough?
It's interesting.
What else do they have besides that that's coming out?
That's what I'm saying. I can't
Yeah, I
remember
mean-
anything. Like,
They haven't announced like a new Far Cry or anything of that nature.
right.
I'm gonna
So
say they need a new Rainbow Six.
sure,
I mean,
that'd be nice.
Siege is still plugging along. People are still
No.
playing that. It's not.
I mean, they're doing fine, but that game it's just a constant up and down with their updates.
I
What-
played that game, and I'm shocked that game has legs. I'm not knocking the game. It just seemed like it was, I don't know.
It got a very niche support group.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but I don't know. And then the Prince of Persia, Lost Crown didn't do
Right.
well for some
Yeah.
reason.
Another bomb.
That one still blows my mind. That's going to be in my top 10 for sure.
Yeah, well, me and you had no problem, but I guess there weren't a lot of people who wanted to pay $50 for a 2D game.
Yeah, no problem here. I got my money's worth and then some from that game.
Yeah. No, I loved it.
But it was
Yeah,
also
absolutely.
difficult. You know, there were some pretty difficult bosses. Boss
Right, but
fights
you
in that one.
wouldn't know that until you already picked it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Well,
But so I guess outside of that, all we have the only things we know that are coming are things that have been in the works for like 5+ years, right?
yeah,
Splinter Cell
Yeah.
remake, Sands of Time remake, and Beyond Good and Evil 2.
and I'm not even sure
If they
that's-
even come out.
I was gonna
That's
say.
the thing.
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I mean, Skull and
I
Bones
don't-
can't be making them money, right?
Yeah,
No,
that
that's
one
gonna be-
flopped.
Right, huge. That's gonna be a huge money loss, right?
Yeah. Man, that's...
Yeah.
You remember the first time, like, how long ago was that when we saw that? At E3, Zach? And, like...
Yeah, that's true. Holy crap, dude.
That was the
Yeah.
first
That's
one we
when-
went to.
It still had the ampersand in the title.
Right,
Oh, that's right. They changed that.
Yeah.
We were playing. We were able to play Skull and Bones, and Resident Evil 2 remake wasn't out yet.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's freaking crazy.
That's
man.
like one of my favorite things we did at E3, by the way, was going through that.
the haunted
that
the
booth.
haunted
That was
police
rad.
department.
That was
Yeah,
rad.
that's pretty cool.
Well, that is the
All right,
week's...
stop bragging.
I'm not
I
name
know.
dropping.
I shook Sam Lake's hand. It's, it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to remind everybody that we are an independently funded podcast, which means all of our podcast hosting services, website, all that is paid for by us. And that's not 100% true. It is paid by our Patreon subscribers. So if you are a fan of the show and would like to give back a little bit, you can do so at patreon.com/thegocast. You can get access to the show a day earlier than everybody else or get bonus episodes. Right now, you can hear Jacob's Desert Island episode where we talk about what games he would choose if you were stranded on an island for however long, and also a episode that we called Married to the Mic with my wife Stephanie, if you want to hear her talk about games and what it's like being married to a podcaster. Speaking of, Zach's going to be doing one with his partner coming up here pretty soon. We had a plan for November, but with the travel and illness and everything, that got a little bit delayed. It is coming, everybody, I promise. And also, this one is actually recorded. We did a Desert Island with Mr. Alan Sheck, so you can hear that one in the very near future. So I will get caught up on these guys, I promise. We will get these out there. But again, if you'd like to help support the show, patreon.com/thegocast. Let's go ahead now and jump into the new games that we've been playing. Zach, what is coming out in the near future that we can pre-download, pre-purchase just to make you angry?
Hey, as long as you want to reward developers that don't care about you, that's your call. But the first game is actually going to be free to play and will probably take over the internet in the coming days, which is Marvel Rivals, the upcoming hero shooter coming out on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC December 6th. Stealth strategy game Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun Aiko's Choice comes to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles December 6th.
How that developer was done.
Yeah, they are. So the publisher ported it over.
Ah, okay.
But like 3 years after this expansion came out on PC, which is interesting.
That is interesting.
Top-down action game Westild's Law. Is that how you would say that? Westilded?
Westilled?
See, I
don't
misread it. I actually thought it was Westlids. I misread it all day long.
Oh.
So
Westilled?
Westild for those at home if you want to play your own pronunciation game. But anyway, that's coming to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC December 6th. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle finally comes out on Xbox Series consoles and PC December 6th, or if you're unwilling to pay for advance copy, you'll be punished by playing it on December 8th. Grimgar Tactics is a strategy mobile title coming to iOS and Android December 9th. Among Ashes is a horror game hitting PlayStation 5 and PC December 9th. Very exciting. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 remastered coming out to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC December 10th. Monument Valley 3 comes to us by way of Netflix as it releases on the iOS and Android December 10th. The Spirit of the Samurai is a stop-motion 2D action game coming to PC December 12th. And then Breath of Death 7, The Beginning Reanimated is a remastered version of Zeboyd Games' first title they ever made, and they made This Way Madness Lies. That comes to PC December 12th. Honestly, I think there's a lot of great games on this list, but Alyssa, if you had to pick just one, what would it be?
Oh, I was going to say I have 5 that sound interesting.
Which one?
I have 5 that
oh my God, okay.
I'm interested in. Of course, I want to play Indiana Jones because it just looks amazing. It's from Machine Games. Among Ashes looks really interesting. Just that whole, you're playing a horror game inside a horror game. Legacy Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, I'm really excited about because that was my childhood playing those games, and I really want to revisit them now that I'm older, and could probably play them a little bit better, maybe. I don't know.
Now they have a map, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's handy.
Yeah.
The Spirit of the Samurai, it reminded me a lot of Trek to Yomi, which I love that game. It does look difficult, but I love Trek to Yomi, and this stop-motion animation of this looks incredible. So that definitely piqued my interest. And Breath of Death 7, The Beginning Reanimated, I love This Way Madness Lies, so I definitely want to play their debut game, which, is it coming from them, or is it coming from a different...
I think a different studio is handling the remaster.
Yeah, I was thinking so.
But, I remember playing that game on the Xbox Live Indie tab way back in the day.
Wow.
And that was it was delightful. It's basically just a parody of JRPG tropes.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But if you only had to pick one, Alyssa, what would it be?
If I had to pick one, let's see. This is hard. I'd probably say Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, just because of nostalgia.
That's allowed. Solid choice. Jacob, what about you on this list here?
I was really intrigued by Grimguard Tactics, and then it's an app game, and so I'm out. But
what a quick roller coaster ride of excitement.
Yes, but I'll probably get roped into playing Indiana Jones at some point.
Roped into it. Perhaps
Whipped
into it.
Oh, I see what she did there.
Yeah. All right, Indiana Jones. What about you, Scott?
Same Indiana Jones. Out of morbid curiosity at this point, I didn't watch that 14-minute gameplay trailer thing that they did just because I know I'm going to play it. I know it's on Game Pass, so I don't really need to be sold on it. So just to hear Troy Baker, right?
Yeah, Troy Baker.
Troy Baker do the voice and just see what they do with Indiana Jones. Because, Machine Games, I know them mostly for Wolfenstein, and that's a shooter. And this doesn't look like or doesn't sound like a shooter. So I'm really curious to see how that development team translates to this. But I'm gonna say a runner-up, Zach, because Westfield's Law.
Who knows how to pronounce it?
Who knows? I know that you're big into the westerns and everything like this, but this game just gave me Lone Ranger vibes.
From the NES game?
The NES game, but
right.
just I don't know. It looks awesome, and I just want to play it. It's Ratalaika, so it's probably going to be super short, but I definitely want to play it.
Right. It looks kind of repeatable. You know?
Yeah.
You meant to replay it.
How about you?
As for me, I mean, Ico's Choice is exciting. I'm glad that's coming because I love me. But I don't feel like I need to rush to it since I'm already years late. West Isles Law, I will pick up, no doubt, because it's a Wild West shooter. What am I going to do? Say no? And obviously, I'm very excited for the Soul Reaver remasters because I replayed Blood Omen just to get ready for it. I'm very excited, but if I can only play one game from this list, it's going to be Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yeah, it's tough not to. I mean, who doesn't love Indiana Jones, right?
I know.
And who doesn't love Machine Games? Both those Wolfenstein reboots were excellent. Even their with the interstitial standalone expansion they did, the Old Blood, that was great. So far their only miss is Young Blood, which didn't really feel like
I did not enjoy that one.
Yeah, I didn't either.
It was the wrong thing. But everything I've seen about Indiana Jones: Great Circle looks great. If I wasn't told it was Troy Baker, I wouldn't have known.
Yep.
Which is good. But now you can kind of hear it a little bit. But yeah, I'll play the hell out of that game. My only concern is Indiana Jones. I'm worried in our modern era of super long games that I don't feel like Indiana Jones is a concept that lends itself to a very long game. Does that make sense?
Like 16 hours, I think.
Yeah.
I read somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just worried every game these days is like 40 hours, and that just feels like a long time for Indiana Jones. Was my concern.
That would be
for like a breezy kind of adventure game. But I think 16 hours is perfectly fair. That's about Wolfenstein 2 length. Yeah. Very excited. Yeah. Who doesn't want to play Indiana Jones?
Yeah, everyone wants to play Indiana Jones, but you've been playing something else, Zach. You've been playing Neon Blood. That's
right. I've been sleuthing my way in a cyberpunk city.
That game looks really interesting to me, by the way. I'm just curious if it's an Alyssa type of game.
It might be.
I know there's detectiving going on.
Not really. You're basically
Okay.
it's okay. So Neon Blood. All right, let me start with the good stuff. How about that?
Yeah.
It looks beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning. The way they're kind of like it's a pixel art for the characters, and the backgrounds are kind of more traditional looking, like 3D environments, but they go together very well. And all the neon lights work exceptionally. The main character, Axel McCoy, he's got like a neon trim on his jacket that looks super slick in the art style.
It makes it look like he's wearing like a magical robe.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. And then and
His coat of many LEDs.
that's right. It's a magical ritual or artifact. There we go. Jeez. But and then the music is really nice too. But then otherwise, Neon Blood, and this I hate to say this about a smaller game, but it's kind of bad.
Uh-oh.
To Alyssa's point, I thought I was going to get a detective game here, but it's really not.
Yeah.
It's honestly closer to like a glorified visual novel. You're just kind of clicking through
Okay.
things. Like when you have to investigate the body, when you have to investigate the crime scene, you just go click on the body, and then he'll make an observation. Then you go talk to the whoever else is at the crime scene, and then he just gives them the information of what he's found. So there's not really, you're not doing any sleuthing on your own. And there's no like, the game's not asking you any questions to make sure you're paying attention to the case or anything. So in many ways, it is just kind of like clicking through a book, which could be fine, but the writing is not very good.
Oh no.
It's getting a little more interesting as we get to the third act, but the characters are just, I don't know, they're not written with any kind of sincerity, I guess, or like for instance, like there's just pop culture references all over this game, which is weird. Like there's just straight up Fight Club quotes happening.
What?
And things like that, or like you run into the cat from Stray, or it's just
Like
it's
for
just
real?
so. Well, yeah, like you run into a cat and he's like, "Oh, this cat's got a name tag, Stray. What an unusual name." Or you run into a guy with a giant silver hand and he's quoting Keanu Reeves from the Cyberpunk trailers or stuff like
Is
that.
his name Johnny?
And
Silver.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's got a lot of Ready Player One energy. I don't know. It was just really, it's a really weird tone because what it does is it makes me like not be able to buy into the story at all. Because every time I'm walking down the street, I'm seeing 6 indie game characters. The dude from Blasphemous shows up in this. Like it's very strange, and it does not mesh at all. And then the story is already kind of sloppily written, and the characters are, they're doing strange expository dialogue, and it's so like there's no chance for me to invest in any aspect of this.
That's too bad, man, because I really like
Yeah.
the dichotomy.
It looked really. It looked really interesting in the trailer.
Yeah, but it has so much dialogue that it's driving me crazy. Like, it'd be like, you're addicted to Spark. As it'll ruin your mind over time. And then like talk to somebody else and they'll be like, well, as I've told you, I've been losing my memory. And like, but then like some other character will be like, oh, I heard you've been losing your memories because of the Spark. Like they keep hammering in the same information to you, even though you just heard it 30 seconds ago.
I mean, that's because you're losing your memory.
I guess, as I've heard 1,600 times.
They're like, lay off the Spark. We gotta give you too much information.
It's like this detective opens every conversation with a total stranger with, I've been having memory problems lately. All right.
Oh, that's what you tell everyone you meet.
That's a
you
weirdo.
don't know.
It's like the movie, like the movie Memento. Oh, I guess I told you about my condition.
Right. Yeah. It's like, I don't know why you would tell a perp that, but all right.
Yeah.
Teach their own. Yeah, and then like any chance you do have to like feel like you are kind of going to be a cop, like following a trail is really just like you take 3 steps, you hit the little button to scan the environment and you keep following the footprints. Like there's no puzzle solving, there's no being a detective. And then the only way they really switch up the gameplay is through these turn-based combat situations. But I haven't had a situation where like you die or there doesn't feel any threat because you only have the one attack animation for no matter which attack you choose. It's the same animation, which is bewildering. And But I just pick the headshot skill every time, and then the bad guys die. I don't know. It just feels like a time waster. Like I'm not doing any kind of strategy or anything.
Does he like Hulk out at some point though? In the trailer, it looks like he turns into.
Yeah. The only time, after you finish a fight, oftentimes it'll go into a QTE, which is devoid of any sound effects, by the way, for some reason. Every single QTE has had no sound effects, to the point where I'm like, it has to be a stylistic choice, right? Not a bug, because why would it happen in every boss fight then?
Right.
But whatever. And it's just a quick time event where he does cool stuff there, and you're kind of like, well, I wish I could have this during the actual combat. Instead of just all the cool stuff he does, I get to just watch.
Right.
He'll do like cool John Wick disarms or something, but it's always just a cutscene. I don't know, which I guess could be fine if I had some abilities to use. I don't know. The combat does not feel like it feels totally superfluous. Doesn't need to be there.
That's too bad, man, because this trailer just looks incredible, like with the pixelation over the more detailed backgrounds. And then like you've also got, I don't know if this is in the game itself, but the cutscenes in the trailer have this like anime feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very
there's
stylized.
There's a handful of animated cutscenes, yeah, and those are cool.
Yeah.
Also weirdly devoid of sound effects. Now that I think about it, actually. Yeah,
why they did. Why had the sound effects?
One of the animated scenes has a character getting shot in the head, and there's no bang.
I mean, he was using a silencer.
Sure didn't look like it.
I was actually kind of hoping that this game would be more of a side-scrolling fighting game, since it did showcase lots of the scenes of the fighting, and he's doing like really cool moves and flipping people over or whatnot, and and then it's kind of disappointing to hear that there's not that much to the actual fighting itself.
Right. All that cool stuff you're talking about is you just pressing up on the D-pad when the cutscene slows down, so you can press the button.
Gross.
Well, I guess that stuff would be forgivable if the story was interesting, but it's
right. Yeah, the QTE things wouldn't even bother me at all. Like those being where he like hulks out or whatever. If the combat had, I guess, some kind of meat to it, or if they just cut out the combat, maybe, I don't know. Just whenever like there's combat, I just kind of roll my eyes because I just know I'm just gonna use a headshot skill and everyone's gonna go away. Like I never feel like under threat. I never feel like there's a strategy to it. And part of it is like it looks like it's on track to be like 3 or 4 hours long. So like maybe there's just not enough time for you to have mechanical depth in a turn-based combat game that short.
Right.
But then also, why is it there? I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't. I don't like. Being so mean to an indie game. I would actually have it beaten, but I had the strangest bug of my life where I tried to exit out to the main menu. Right. As you do when you finish playing a game, and
as you do,
but then like it just loaded into the intro cutscene from me trying to exit the game. And I don't know
you're
if
gonna play it again and you're gonna like it.
But the game only has one slot and it auto saves. So when I exit out of the game immediately when I noticed it was the intro cutscene on my Steam Deck, and then when I booted it back up, I hit continue, and it was just that intro cutscene. So I had to restart.
Oh no!
Oh,
I've never seen a bug like that in my life.
So unfortunate.
It was not.
You didn't have a rollback save.
There is none.
Ooh.
It's only one slot, and it auto saves. Luckily, because the game is mostly just you reading, I got caught up. I'm getting caught up fairly quickly, but it's just that was frustrating.
Next.
Man, I am sorry to hear that. That is Neon Blood on PC.
Yeah, man, I feel mean. It's just how it is. Like, it's just not very frustrating, very disappointing. Because I really did think the game looked pretty special.
Don't feel bad. We pay you to be honest.
Wait, you're getting paid?
You get paid?
Oh my god!
Shh, you weren't supposed to say anything, Jacob.
Well, now that I know I've been betrayed, I'm feeling wrought with anger.
Me too.
Voidwrought, maybe. Scott, you've been playing Voidwrought.
I have been playing Voidwrought
on Switch. What's going on? What's going on with Voidwrought? Please tell me it's better than Neon Blood.
I from what you've told me about Neon Blood, yes, I'm liking it much better than Neon Blood. But I will say, I have absolutely zero idea what is going on story-wise in this game. Have you ever talked to somebody and as a conversation is going, the person that is speaking to you, feels like they're trying to come across like they're super smart by using flowery language and big words and things and it just doesn't, and you're having trouble following along.
Mhm.
Sure.
That is the story of this game. Every the opening cutscene, and every conversation I have with NPCs just uses this overly flowery language.
Would you say the dialogue is overwrought?
Oh my goodness, yes. Maybe no, that can't be. So I'm not even saying this to be funny. I genuinely don't know what's going on in the story. It's kind of this, what do you call it?
I don't know.
I can't think of the
Eldritch monster.
Thank you. There we go. Eldritch is what I was looking at. But I can't really get.
How did you pull that out of his hand motion?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
because the game.
For people that can't see, Scott was dangling his fingers in the air, just wiggling them.
It was Cthulhu
Right.
tentacles. Obviously.
Yes, that's what it was
Right.
supposed to be. I couldn't think of the word Cthulhu.
I thought they were spirit fingers at first. I didn't know where he was going.
Oh no! Well, Scott and I finish each other's
Sentences all the time.
Dinner.
Like it's just
Oh.
sandwiches. No, it's, and I don't know if this is really a knock on it because I'm enjoying the gameplay well enough, but I genuinely don't know. And like even as you go along the way, you'll find like these totems that like kind of are supposed to give you lore about what's going on in the game, and it's just like strings of words and sentences that just don't make any sense. Like I'm a good reader, right? I feel like I'm a pretty solid
famously
reader.
a good reader.
No. I just mean like I don't struggle with comprehension, and I just don't care about anything that I'm coming across. I like the only time I ever pay attention to text anymore is when it's something that relates to gear gated stuff. Like this is how I need to progress this or something.
Oh, so you're just totally checked out of the story.
Totally, I have no clue. It is a 2D gear gated game. It's very the way that you traverse the map, at least as far as I am, so far as like they do this standard. Here's a point off the map that you haven't uncovered yet. Go find it. You go find it. You do some stuff. You get an equipment that will allow you to access somewhere else. But that instead of it being like in a Metroid game where like that item might be used here and here and here and here, at least so far it is used in this one spot all the way at the top of the map where I started. So I basically have to traverse my way all the way back and just hope that I survive. There's little checkpoints along the way. But it's just all about getting to that next checkpoint and just surviving and getting to where I need to go.
So, I mean, they're more like keys than gear?
No, I mean, it's still gear. Like the first thing that you get lets you hang on to the edge of ledges.
Okay.
Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that really comes into play once you get back to the beginning of the map. Now, I don't know if that's going to continue. You know what I mean? But and there's little pockets along the way of things that I'm sorry, that's not the first ability you get. The first ability you get is the ability to like slide under, so there's a small gap you can slide under it to get to access a new area, and that one you use pretty well going towards that first point that you're getting, and then once you get to that point, that's when you get the ledge climbing deal and you go back up to the top. So, the thing that I'm struggling with is there's so much currency in this game. You know how most games give you like this is a thing, if you collect enough of this, it's going to make your health bigger. If you collect enough of this, it's going to make your mana bigger. You know what I mean? So there are those, but then there's like 4 other currencies that I have no idea what they do. And you go in the menu, and it's like, and it gives you that eldritch horror description of what it is, but it means nothing to me so far. Now, I'm very early on in this game, so all that stuff could open up and get explained to me. I'm seriously only like an hour and a half, 2 hours into it. So I'm getting kind of the stuff that's frustrating out of the way. The rest of the game is Metroid goodness. It's really what I want. It does something interesting that I haven't wrapped my head around efficiently yet, that whenever you hit an enemy, it actually bounces you back. So you know how like in games, if you get hit, you kind of take, your character leaps backwards, like, oh, I just got hit. This game does it whenever you strike an enemy. So you strike,
Interesting.
it pushes you back a little bit. So you can't just kind of wail on a guy. You have to really take your time with enemies. There's no fodder. I mean, even though they are fodder enemies, it's not like in a Metroid or Symphony of the Night where you just keep wailing until they go away. You really have to strategize each one, which is interesting. There are pockets of, arena where like the doors will close on both sides and now you're trapped in a room with several enemies and you have to get through that. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing what's around each corner though. Because I don't, maybe the story will make sense to me eventually. I think that's kind of a big part of it. But much like any 2D gear-gated game, it is just a ton of fun to explore. And it feels really rewarding when you find something hidden that feels like you weren't supposed to see it. You found like you really discovered something. You know what I mean? Like you just see a tiny little thing and you slide under it. Oh, and I just got this new power-up. And that's always fun. The art style is very interesting. It's pixelated, but it's very well animated. I keep seeing things that I can't access. And I want to mark my map like I could on Lost Crown. I'm just like I want to do that, but I feel like I've talked more negatively about Voidwrought than I mean to. I'm really enjoying it, especially the music. Holy cow! If you play this game with headphones. I feel like it gives so much atmosphere to this game. Not anything in like a theme song or anything like that. It's not like anything you're going to be humming, like a Metroid or Zelda theme or something like that. It is just, there's this ambient music going on that really gives you this sense of horror, even though the game isn't a horror game. Like, it's not horrific or anything. I mean, you're killing zombies and things like that, but it just really sets the mood. Even in the pause menu, it has this creepy atmosphere. And it's not a super easy game. I mean, the very beginning stages are, the basic enemies that you're fighting are pretty standard. But the first boss you fight has 5 stages.
Whoa, that's cool.
Like, yeah. And it took me 2 or 3 tries to get through because I thought I was, there's going to be 2 stages. I'm just going to I'm not going to be as careful this time. You know what I mean? Just wail. Oh, no, there's a third one. Do it again. Wail, and just take the hits. Nope. So finally I was like, okay, I really need to take my time. And each of the 4 stages has a completely different pattern to memorize, and it felt like a very rewarding, like I finally got that boss. And for that to be a first boss, I thought was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, some games, a lot of gear-gated games go the whole runtime without a boss that satisfying.
Yeah. And there's a lot of extra mechanics in this as well. You've got a standard melee weapon, but then you've also got like 3 nodes that you can purchase items from a shop and attach whichever ones you want to. So, and one of those is like a secondary weapon. So you don't really have a projectile weapon like to shoot across the room or anything like that. But you do, like the one that I picked up is like this giant black bleeding ball that just kind of bounces around the screen and does damage. Then there's other upgrades to like increase your health and things like that. So you've got a shop that you can go to, and I'm spending currency that I don't understand what the currency is or how it works, but there's little things like that aren't super explained. And I'm hoping it starts to click as I go through. I'm very excited to get back to it as soon as we're done here. So,
I mean, that game looks a lot like Hollow Knight.
Yeah, that's probably a good comparison. I feel like it's not as tight as Hollow Knight in terms of controls. I am playing it on the Switch, so with a joystick, and part of me kind of wants to play it with a pad instead of a stick. And I know you can do that on the Switch, but I've never liked using the 4 buttons as a directional pad for some reason. I don't know if that's just because I'm old school. So I've been sticking with the stick, but it feels a little bit more loose than Hollow Knight did. But that's a good comparison. So this one was developed by Power Snake. It's published by Quali and was provided to us by Press Engine. It's $20. I think it's a very fair price for this. And again, don't take all the minor gripes I had with this game as super negative. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Very rewarding. Love the atmosphere. I'm not invested story-wise. and I'm kind of confused by the different currency. I wish it were explained a little bit more, but otherwise,
I hope
game.
that game does No Man's Sky open up, because like as you explore No Man's Sky, you unlock words that are part of other languages, and so when you talk to those people again, it'll say like whatever nonsense they say, but then it'll show that word when they use it. And so like maybe there's a point in the game where you like understand everything, and now all the jumble up words make sense.
Well, in this case, the stuff that they're saying isn't jumbled up. It's all English. It's just
Say like purple prose, right? It's just like overly
Mhm.
written.
yeah, just
You're saying?
overly written and like it's trying to sound smart. And I don't understand what's smart about it, and maybe I'm just dumb. But I'm going to take a screenshot and show
Definitely a
you.
chance you're dumb. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just teach reading, doesn't mean I know how to do it.
Right.
So yeah.
But
The A makes an eh sound.
yeah, I would be interested. If you could send me a screenshot, I would appreciate it. I'm curious to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to know, is it written like Vagrant Story, kind of very Shakespearean, or what's going on? So
I haven't played Vagrant Story, but I wouldn't say close to Shakespearean, but it's not like these and thous or anything like that.
yeah, sure.
But yeah, just like overly written is a nice way to say it. But
Okay.
I'm having so much fun with it. I'm not super bothered by it, but I wanted to report on it. So again, that is Voidwrought. Really digging that. Got a couple other reviews to share with you guys, as we like to do. People from our community have reviewed some games for us, so I'm going to share those with you right now. Mark Szymanski, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Scott, how are you on this fine Saturday afternoon?
I'm doing all right. I think this is becoming you're just like a regular on the show at this point. We would be hard-pressed to have a week where you're not reviewing a game for us, but
Hey.
thanks for being here.
Keep bringing the great games,
we're gonna be-
and I'll keep showing up.
There you go. We're talking about a game called Slopecrashers, which you're playing on PC, but I know it's also available on Xbox, Switch, and Mac. If I'm reading this correctly, this looks like this came out actually in 2021. It's just coming to PC finally, which is weird. I feel like it's usually the other way around. It comes to PC and then it eventually comes to console, but not that way.
See, I read it a little bit differently. I read it that he started working on the game full time in 2020.
Oh, okay.
So-
Maybe I'm misreading that. I should be
Okay.
doing better research.
It is a solo,
Well, anyway.
solo developer on this game, and I am,
Interesting.
with that in mind, I'm totally impressed.
Okay. The developer is Byte Parrot, and the review copy was provided to us by Neon Hive. So talk to me about this, man, because I love me some SSX from back in the GameCube era. I'm getting some vibes of that in this trailer. Is that far off?
No, it's not far off at all. SSX, definitely, and then you mix in Mario Kart. So it's SSX meets Mario Kart, and the fun is the rest of the game.
So Mario Kart in terms of what, like weapons and things that you
Yes.
can do to other.
There's item boxes that are on the slopes as you race down the slopes, and you can grab them just like you do in Mario Kart. It doesn't do like a what's the thing, like the dice box, almost like when you see on Mario
Yeah.
Kart, but instead it just
Mhm.
gives you the item and you can either use it. They're color coded as well. So if you go for a blue item box, it's an offensive item, and if you get a red one, it's a defensive item. And then much like Mario Kart again,
Interesting.
the item boxes get better as the farther back you go. So if you're in last place, you're going to get a much better item. But I'll be honest with you, even the ones I
So-
got when I was in second place were fantastic.
So it does the rubber banding, which will make some people happy and make some people frustrated. And here's the thing I will say. I feel like SSX kind of teetered on the line of realism in arcade. This one just is full on, more along the lines of a Mario Kart. I mean, you're animals
Yes.
on snowboards.
Yes.
Very, very ridiculous, but it just looks like a lot of fun. Like, how does it control?
It controls fine. Everything is steady, responsive. I didn't feel any kind of concerns with that. I had a little bit of a learning curve, and a very minor one, let me stress that, but still a tiny little learning curve when trying to do the stunts. I didn't realize that you could crouch and then jump. I had forgotten about that aspect of snowboarding from the SSX days, but that one's there, and you can help spring into a jump, and you can do more of the tricks. The tricks are really easy to pull off once you get used to it. It's basically just holding a direction on your joystick.
So how does that play into racing? Because I know in SSX you were trying to, not only get a good time, but also get a good score as you're going down. So how does doing tricks help you with racing? Does it give you like a speed boost or something?
There are two different ways to look at this. During actual races, yes, it builds up your boost meter, and then you can use that to give yourself a speed boost, of course. And then there are other aspects in the campaign mode where you aren't racing, you are trying to get the highest score from the tricks that you do. So either way, the race styles go back and forth during your campaign. So one race might just be an all-out race where you do the tricks to get yourself the boost, and then the next stage might be full you versus everybody else and whoever does the most tricks.
Interesting. Now you're playing this, before release. So are there a lot of people online, or are you playing against AI?
I have not tried multiplayer just yet. I'm still got a little time left to play it and get a full immersion into it. But I'm not sure how many people are online yet. I am all against the AI. There is difficulty settings, which is, me, I love difficulty settings. I've left it on easy just so I can get the hang of the game. I'll check out some of the harder difficulties and see how dastardly the rubber banding is when you set it up on a higher level, because I'm sure it is.
I just love the aesthetic of this. I mean, I'm looking at the video, and there's one, like a penguin riding on a pool floating deal, like one of those things that you lay on. Everything just looks so bizarre and goofy, but in like the best ways possible. Is there a lot of humor in here? Goofy sound effects from animals and things?
Goofy sound effects, yes. Dialogue has been light as far as I've gone with it, so I'm not really sure if that's an aspect of it. They all make their noises, though, and when you've done something well, when you've made a mistake, or especially when you've been attacked by another weapon. But it's whimsical, cartoony fun. Each animal is a lot of fun, and then there's the things that you can, when you win races, you get coins and points, and you can download a bow tie or a special hat. You can dress up your animal the farther you get along in the game.
Very cool. So what do you think? Are you recommending people check out Slopecrashers?
For the sake of it being the style of game it is, and an independent, one guy, one developer, absolutely. Try it out. It's fun. Is it going to blow you away? No. These are S2 GameCube era graphics, even on Steam. It wasn't anything that's going to be like, oh my gosh, wow, I got to tell all my friends. But for sitting down, having a great time, racing against AI, racing against your friends, the fun with the weapons and the different stages, the slopes, a whole lot of fun. Yes, I recommend it.
Very cool, man. Well, thanks for checking that one out. Looks pretty cool. I have to check that one out on Xbox or something. The price, if I have it down correctly, is $17.99. So check that one out. Again, PC, Xbox, Switch, and Mac, if that sounds like something you want to play. So
for sure.
Well, Mark, you have a good one, and I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, man.
Oh, sure did. It was great, and even better with some fun games to play.
Very cool, man. Well, you have a good one, okay?
You too. Thanks, Scott.
Paul Hine, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for being here, man. If you guys don't recognize Paul's voice, he was a guest and actually hosted a couple of our Patreon episodes on our Desert Island shows. That was a lot of fun. But Paul decided he wanted to take a hand at doing some reviews for us, and he started with the weirdest game I've seen in quite a while.
It is absolutely insane.
This game is nuts. It is called Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. You're playing this on PC, but it is also available on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. The developer is Beard Envy Games, which I love that name, first off. It's just a great developer name. The publisher is Casado Games, and it was provided to us by Press Engine. Paul, I don't even know where to begin what this game is, because it looks very cartoony, like it's a cute little game. And then as you go through the trailer, it's hyper violent. It's hyper vulgar.
Yeah.
Explain to me what this game is.
So, number one, don't play it around your kids.
Yeah, right.
It is not voice acted. So, like when you hear when there's the talking, you're reading it, and they just say wah, 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 which is good, because every other word is the F-bomb.
Right.
In this game. So I was reading up, like, how are other people describing this? And they call it a repair sim. And it is, but it is cartoony. It's in a kind of a style. It's cutesy, kind of like Cult of the Lamb cutesy.
It looks like Bluey to me.
Yeah, and it's got that kind of like that 2D and it's a 2D side scroller kind of thing as you're moving around from your apartment to your shop, to your equipment, and it's the art style is very cutesy. But it's very alien and sci-fi, and you got some stuff going in the background. There's rocket ships and spaceships and all sorts of stuff. And you're operating out of this cheapy shop, all right? You're buying equipment as you go through your runs. You get money, and it's the objectives are for different modules of the spaceships that come down. Like you have to refuel them. You have to fix the oil. You have to fix the toilet. You have to fix the camera.
I got to be clear before you move on that when we say clear the toilet, there's not literal. There's feces going through the tubes that you see.
And there's poo in the toilet where you have to use a hose on the poo, and not just part of the toilet. You have to take the toilet apart and hose out all the bits and pieces of the toilet, and then reattach the water. There's security modules, navigation modules. It's just an insane amount of stuff, and the detail and the complexity of each job gets harder and harder, and you kind of start to learn how the jobs work, and you have different tools. You have ratchets and screwdrivers and side cutters, and you have different bits and pieces of equipment, and you have to replace things and fix things, and to learn how to do this, you're given what's called a grimoire, right? A book with and
you just got Zach's attention.
It's very stylized, and you have to read the manual to learn how to do these things. So you can read it ahead of time. So you get the grimoire right off the bat inside the first 5 minutes of your run, and but it doesn't tell you exactly how it works. Like it shows you this is the correct wiring, this is the correct method, this is how you should do this, and it's a lot of trial and error to learn how to do these things. And there's two modes to the game. It's called frantic fixing, which is timed. You would absolutely hate it, Scott.
Yeah, I would.
Because the time is never enough, especially when it's something new and you're popping open your instruction manual and the time is just ticking down, ticking down, ticking down.
I'm out.
And yeah. And then there's a second mode called focused fixing where there's no timer, which the majority of my time play, when I figure that out, that's how I'm playing it.
Now you said run, which makes me think it's a roguelike.
It is a roguelike.
Okay, because then in the trailer, it looks like you
easily.
It looks like you go talk to some kind of spider creature to resurrect or something.
Yes, yeah. So he's your buddy. He's your friend. He is an eldritch god, but he's your bud. And he resurrects you, and you die from all sorts of things. You die from your boss that you can't pay rent to. I've yet to make a rent payment on time, and I get killed in the craziest ways. I get smashed, zapped by lightning, shot in the face. Assassins are sent after you if you piss off a customer, and they'll shoot you in the face, and you'll have to start the run over again. I've yet to complete a run. I've never made it more than 3 days.
This game, I encourage people, please, the link for this is in the show notes of this episode. Watch the trailer for this game, because this seems like something, it sounds like when you watch it, it feels like a game that's not real. Like somebody made this up. And I mean this in the best way, because it just makes me want to play it. It's a game that looks cartoony like Bluey, swears and is uber violent, where you play as a dog that goes to repair all this stuff, like cleaning out toilets, and you get resurrected by your buddy that is an eldritch god to do it all over again. It's just madness.
And it's hard. It was legit. Like, how does this work? How is it? And it's frustrating at times. But then the more you get into it, you start to learn the jobs, and you kind of get a rhythm to it. And I was playing it on controller, and it's actually was pretty easy to figure out, because using the right trigger to grab and the left stick to choose, and you get into a rhythm, and it's not bad. The music's kind of interesting, but the art style is just absolute nutters. It's amazing.
In a good way, it sounds like.
I'm about 4 hours in, and again, I've never made it past day 3.
Okay. Well, the big question is bizarre as this game sounds, is it fun to play? Do you recommend it?
if you are willing to kind of take a step back and learn how stuff works, like take the time, you can't brute force your way through this.
Right.
You have to like actually read the manual, follow the directions, take your time, and just be willing to get shot in the face every few days. It's tons of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. If you like that kind of like roguelite idea, it's a good time. If you want to just brute force something and just like, I'm gonna pop this open and figure out, you're gonna get frustrated all get out.
Okay. Again, that game is called Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. Again, you're playing on PC on your Steam Deck, right?
Actually, I was playing on the Legion Go. So yeah, a big old screen, trying it out. Right now I'm kind of tossing up whether it's a Steam Deck or the Legion Go. Still trying to figure out what's gonna suit my needs a little bit better for my circumstance. So
nice. Well, keep us posted, man. And thanks for checking out this game. It sounds insane in a good way.
Awesome.
We'll get you next time, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. Do appreciate that. I love hearing from those guys all the time. Actually, Paul's a new one. Paul has reviewed a game for us for the first time, so good to have him there. Moving on. Want to remind everybody, if you'd like to check us out, you can do so on our website, thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all of our episodes as well as our written content, including my reviews for Kong Survivor Instinct and Shadows of the Damned Hella Remastered, as well as Mark's review of Locomotive. And I highly encourage you, if you did not listen to his review of that last week, read his review. He is in love with this game. Just absolutely in love with this game. I may have to go pick this one up before the end of the year because it just sounds incredible.
I've seen nothing but praise for it everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, very good. He actually got one of the voice actors quoted him and retweeted it yesterday, like because he spoke very specifically about the voice acting, and she was very proud of his comment. So I thought that was pretty cool. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. Every first of the month, we ask the community for video game-related questions to elicit interesting conversation. We've compiled questions from Facebook, Discord, and Twitter, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Zach, why don't you read the questions for us, man?
Sure. Over at Facebook, Sean Coates writes in, what year is it? 2024 or 2024? Which way do you commonly use most often? From 2010 onward, I've always used the 20 prefix. Yeah, I think that's what everybody does, right?
2024.
Who the hell out here? Who the hell is saying 2024?
My dad.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
December 3rd, 2024. No, I just.
Yep.
I think like in the.
I'm like 2024.
I mean, I didn't say like, when it was single digits, I didn't say like 2009. You know what I mean? Like that was 2009.
Right.
But
well, you get to the double digits though. That's when you switch.
Yeah, why do we do that? No, that's a good question. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because I was also saying 2006.
Yeah.
I think it's just because whichever is shorter. Once you get to the teens, it's 2013, 2015. It's 4 syllables.
Well, even with 2010.
But
like 2010, 2011, but like 09, 08.
But people weren't saying 1901 for 1901 back in those old days.
1,000.
Maybe they were.
1,000.
Yeah. 1,000.
I was born in 1,980. That just sounds so weird.
That makes it sound like a futuristic.
You know what's interesting though? Like saying it out loud, I feel like I said 2011 and 2012. Wait, 2012? No, I said 2012. I definitely said 2012. Yeah, so once we get into the 2010, everything just was 20 insert blank.
Yeah, but like you said, you didn't say 2009. You didn't say 29. Like
29? Yeah, 28, 27. We just
In 2009 rotations around the sun.
Right.
Good stuff. Oh, that was an interesting. What way to kick it off, Sean? Thanks so much, man.
Right. No, that's a good question, Sean. I want to be thinking about this. I assume it's just because we're all lazy.
Probably.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, we just want to shorten things.
Obsessed.
Y2K is upon us.
Oh no, the computers.
You really have that serialized voice down, man. That that radio show. Oh no. See?
Are you complimenting him?
Yes. I'm totally no, I'm
Yeah.
complimenting you.
Oh,
Right.
Oh, thank you.
He doesn't. I don't get compliments.
No.
They're like
Well.
invites.
Invites. Oh, is there some drama here? Was he not invited to something?
You know what Jacob misses most about my parties?
Is
The invitation.
Oh, harsh. What's going on? Is there? So wait, I'm sorry. Is there some drama in the Scott Jake
no.
friendship?
No, not at all. It's just
No
it's a running joke that
You
Jake
just don't
doesn't
like
get
him?
invited. Yeah.
You just don't like him.
Interesting.
He's keeping his enemies close.
Smart. It's a good strat.
All right, I'll read the next one. Discord. Drew Ross said, "What are some of your favorite Thanksgiving food? What is some Thanksgiving food that you don't like?" I know Thanksgiving was last week, but this is timely. You guys have any?
Still relevant.
Yeah. I must say right now, stuffing can go rot in hell.
You can stuff it.
I cannot. I've never understood the appeal of stuffing, even if it's not shoved up a dead bird's ass and cooked that way. Like
Yeah.
if you just make it on the stove, I can't stand that stuff. It's so gross, so disgusting.
I love dressing, which a lot of people consider stuffing, but I don't consider it stuffing. I'm not eating it out of a turkey's butt.
What's the difference? Oh, is
I don't
dressing
know.
what?
Well, I love my mom's dressing. She makes it with chicken. The chicken's inside, but it's just like cornmeal and chicken.
Huh.
I don't know what else goes in
Is
there.
this
She knows.
Is this a southern thing?
Maybe?
Get you a plate of dressing?
Yeah. Get some dressing.
I don't know if I've ever had dressing.
Okay, maybe it's a southern thing.
I don't know.
I'd rather you didn't bother dressing at all.
Do you guys have any that you hate?
I will not get anywhere near deviled eggs. I've never eaten one, but I can't stand eggs, and they smell horrible.
Is this a
And
traditional
it'll trigger
Thanksgiving
me.
food, though?
Here in the South, it is.
Okay. I love deviled eggs.
That's more of a Christmas thing for me, I think. But
They do it for Thanksgiving and Christmas here, and I'm like, no, get them away from me. Get them away.
I can't
Uh,
stand the yellow part of eggs. So yeah, I'm out on those two.
I've only seen them at cookouts. We never do them for holidays.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Mm.
Huh. Yeah.
I don't like sweet potatoes, so
What?
Yeah, those
No.
suck.
Oh, you're not putting enough brown sugar and butter on them then.
Oh, that makes them worse. You're making them worse and worse.
I've eaten them with. I've eaten them several different ways, even with marshmallows on top, and no.
Oh,
Wait, why are you serving me candy as a side?
because candy's delicious. Like,
Oh, my-
I was gonna say my wife makes this delicious plate that is candied sweet potatoes. It takes about 6 hours for her to make, and it's amazing.
Have
One
I
of
had
my
those?
favorite parts of Thanksgiving? No, you haven't.
No. Jacob's wife is a hell of a cook. When we were cleaning up at R2V2 last summer, she would she brought over like full meals, like little Tupperware containers of green beans and meatloaf, and it was so good.
Is this just
I
like?
turned it right.
Is it a pastime of hers? She just enjoys cooking,
Oh yeah,
or did
she,
okay?
it's one of those things where like she connects like loving her family to cooking, so she
Yeah.
enjoys
Yeah.
cooking for the family.
Is her love language kind of?
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas like if somebody like asks her to like, oh, can you do this? She just no, I don't like you.
But,
that much.
But also, she's smart enough not to get out of stop cooking, right? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You gotta,
One, one of the
Unless it's
few
your mom.
times I invited Jacob over, we were playing cards one night, and she just showed up and like, I bake cookies. Like she
Wow.
can't show up without bringing something.
Yeah, man, you gotta lock that down. I understand.
We had the little go meetup. I just grilled barbecue for everybody, and she brought a whole thing of chicken wings. Like, yeah, awesome.
And potato salad.
And potato salad. Oh no, what was it? Booty pasta? Boat- you-
The bow tie pasta, but I said
Oh.
booty pasta.
He texted me and said my wife is bringing booty pasta, and he typoed, and I was like, what is booty pasta? He's like, no, bow tie pasta. pretty funny. Anyway, Jacob, what Thanksgiving food do you hate?
That I hate,
Yeah.
absolutely hate cranberries.
Like-
I don't like them either. No.
Stand them, but my wife loves them, and so there's always this she has this little crock pot. It's about the size of a large soup can, and she fills that thing to the brim and cooks it all day, and I hate it because it makes it all smell like it.
Real cranberries, not like where you got one that's shaped like a dog food can
Yeah.
after you pull it out.
She goes to the store and buys as fresh as she can cranberries.
Wow.
And she cooks them so they burst and
See,
whatnot. But
That sounds good because I actually like cranberries, but whatever the hell's coming out of that can with the indent still on the gelatinous blob, like that is not cranberries.
No, and it tastes gross.
It
So I
is
started-
gross.
I started dating my wife 10 years ago, and she cooked for Thanksgiving for the first time, and it blew my mind because there was an actual turkey, and there was ham, and there was actual sides. And growing up with my mom, she made turkey loaf, and all of the sides were microwaved out of a can. And as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but then as an adult, I was like, "Holy crap! This is what good food tastes like."
What the hell is turkey loaf? It's like meatloaf but made with ground turkey?
You can buy them frozen from the store. They come in a little bread pan or whatever, and you throw it in the oven, and then it comes out as one solid piece. And my mom used to make it. It came with its own gravy. You'd cut it and just serve it. That was
If it comes with its own gravy, you know it's going to be terrible.
Dude, I can relate to this, Jacob, because for years I thought I hated mashed potatoes, but the reality was I hated the ones my grandma made for Thanksgiving and Christmas because it was like a dried pouch that you just added water
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Yep,
Those are
instant potatoes.
gross.
Those suck.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are terrible.
Yup.
But when I actually, as an adult, tried real mashed potatoes for the first time, it was revelatory.
Yeah.
They're incredible.
So is that what you hate? Is instant mashed potatoes?
Does that count? I don't. Yeah, I mean, yes. There's Thanksgiving is weird because I love, obviously, who doesn't love turkey or ham? But then all these casseroles people are doing. What are you wasting my time for? Canned cranberry, awful. Sweet potatoes, total waste. Just a total bust. So I don't know, man. I get a plate with just turkey and ham usually.
Yeah.
And I'm not a picky
Yeah.
eater. It's just the Thanksgiving foods suck. And I'll try somebody's. I've been surprised by things that like a green bean casserole, right? I'm like, these are terrible. But then you have somebody's and you're like, okay, yours is good though. Right. So there's all these different recipes, but whatever my family was doing growing up wasn't good. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. No dice. Grandma's out here with the instant mash. It's no good.
Right.
Have you ever had
That's right.
deep fried turkey? I did that one year.
No, that sounds very good though.
Dude, that was I actually injected the turkey with a marinade before I did it.
Ah,
That was quite tasty. It was really good.
all right. Well, much like Jacob's party invite, I must have got my Thanksgiving invite lost in the mail.
Yeah. What about so is turkey your favorite then?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess so. As long as, because what is it, 80% chance it's going to be dry.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
what if you get somebody who knows how to cook a turkey? Yeah, of course.
My
Absolutely.
father-in-law actually spent the money and got a butterball turkey this year, and what a difference that made, man! That was the
Oh yeah.
very moist turkey.
What a nice moist bird.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Jake, what about you? Favorite?
Oh, I'm a fan of ham. I love ham. In the immortal words of my niece, ham.
Okay.
Right. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
She was probably about three or four, and they had her sitting at the table, and she had this big. It must have been a pound of ham. She had went and grabbed it just off the table by herself, came back to the table and just slammed it down. It was just like ham, and her parents were like, "Oh no, no, you're not having that much."
I don't think I've ever had ham for Thanksgiving. To me, ham is always an Easter or a Christmas thing.
I don't like turkey that much.
Ah, okay.
And so she started making ham for me, and then the
Gotcha.
kids got addicted to the ham on Thanksgiving, and so now we make 2 hams and a turkey.
Nice. Alyssa, what about you? Favorite Thanksgiving food?
My mom's chicken dressing.
There you go.
Chicken
Mine's
dressing.
weird. You guys are gonna think I'm weird. My wife thinks I'm weird. I do like turkey, but I like turkey a specific way. I like it with gravy.
Turducken?
No. I like it with gravy, but not turkey gravy. You guys are gonna think I'm so
like
weird.
a biscuits and gravy, like a sausage gravy.
Beef gravy on turkey.
Oh, yeah.
My
people eat that here.
Oh,
Yeah,
is that normal? I thought it was weird.
Yeah, here it is.
That's what the same grandma who doesn't know how to cook potatoes was from Tennessee, and it was always beef turkey or the beef gravy with turkey.
Dude, but it's got to be it's like 29 cents a packet of this Aldi brand gravy. You don't even mix anything but water with it, which I know you just said that's terrible with potatoes.
Right.
But this one that we get, for whatever reason, it tastes exactly like a kind I had when I was a kid, when I used to work at a summer camp, when I actually worked in the kitchen. And I just thought it was
based.
It's very nostalgia based, and for whatever reason, that beef gravy on turkey and on the mashed potatoes, that it's so good. That, to me, that is Thanksgiving. And my wife rolls her eyes every year, but she always buys a couple packets of that and makes it just for me, and nobody else eats it. Everyone else wants the turkey gravy, and I got all this beef gravy to myself. So crazy.
No.
We should do like a communal Thanksgiving one. It's like we'll all make something, like bring us
A gaming outsider Thanksgiving.
Yeah, not a bad
gaming
idea.
outside of Thanksgiving.
A ghost giving.
A goes giving.
Ghost giving is better. You did it much better.
All right, I'll zoom in.
Yeah, let's do it. Just we'll just ship you a plate of.
Yeah, no, I'll ship you guys whatever I make.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Let's move on.
Liquid Perigel Fragile or.
I love this. 2 questions in, nothing video game related. Zach's very happy. Jake, why don't you take the next question?
All right. Mark Szymanski says, a VR headset, PS5 Pro, Xbox Series X, Steam Deck, or wait for the PS Portable. Which would you buy next?
It's important to note that he did say he already has a regular PS5. So
are we giving advice?
It sounds like it, yeah.
Saying,
He's in the market for a new gaming platform, and he wants to know which one we go.
I would say go with maybe the Steam Deck, because then you'll have a portable PC in your hands. Large library.
I would agree with you if he didn't already have a gaming PC.
Oh yeah, I forgot he does have a gaming PC. Well, then
he has no way to play Xbox games except for on PC. He can.
Then I'd say get an Xbox Series X. Then
that's my answer as well, but I just hesitate to say it because I know I like Xbox, but that's not. I'm not saying it because it's a preferred platform. He already has a PS5. PS Portal may not even happen. You can already play PC games. VR to me is fun, but it's, at least for me personally, it's more of a novelty. It's not something I want to sit down and play for hours and hours. But Series X is going to open up things that you can't play on other platforms more than anything else. If he didn't have a gaming PC, I would say Steam Deck over the Xbox. But since he does, I'm going to say Series X.
I say Series X as well, since he already has a gaming PC.
Jacob's going to disagree because he hates Microsoft. What do you say?
Absolutely get the Xbox Series X, and then throw it out of a window.
Wow!
But I could say the same thing about a PS5 too at this point. I feel like both of the companies are taking very good steps and they're taking very bad steps. I don't think there's a reason to get a PS5 Pro.
Well, he's certainly not. Yeah.
No.
I mean, have you seen like a bunch of games are patched and they're running worse now?
Seriously?
Yeah, like Silent Hill 2 is running way worse. For instance, I can't remember the other examples right now, but yeah, there's more than a few games with the PS5 Pro patch actually made them run worse, which is pretty funny. Yeah.
Zero.
And also just zero quality control at PlayStation. I guess you're not just gonna test that patch before you let them roll it out. I guess. This is the time when people are talking about PS5 Pro. You think you would want to make sure everything was running smoothly.
Everything was perfect.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Especially with like the 30th anniversary right now. You're talking about Pro. You've got all this nostalgia shit going around.
But I guess they know the reality, right? Is that it doesn't matter. Everyone will just buy their stuff anyway.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I have to agree with Scott. I feel like a VR headset's going to be more novelty than an actual use. I'm probably not going to be sitting in my gaming chair playing, unless I can stream everything directly to my eyes, like then maybe that may be worth it. But I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's a game on the VR that's going to grab my attention that I'm going to sit there for 400 hours and play, like there is on my computer. But I'm actually curious as to what the next PlayStation Portable is going to be, and so I'm kind of hoping that that's going to be a thing. But I would actually say the Steam Deck, even though he has a gaming computer, he cannot take that on the go. And so if you wanted to play a small game on the go that's only on the computer, Steam Deck would be perfect. I'm not sitting there trying to play. I have no idea. Baldur's Gate, but that's a slower game. I wouldn't play anything super fast on the go like that.
I bought Control just to see how it would handle in the Steam Deck, and I never fired it up. It was on sale for like $8 or something, and I was like, I just want to see what this thing can do. And yeah, that went well. But Zach, did you have an answer?
Yeah. I think I would. Well, the PlayStation Portable, is unfortunate. I mean, there's no release date on that. And it sounds like from the rumors, it sounds like it's further away than even people thought it was, which is strange because if I were a PlayStation, I would just get on let's just make a portable PS4 quick.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with how well the Portal's doing. And there's no reason to get the Portal because you could just do that on your phone or on the Steam Deck even.
Yeah.
Unless you want to pay $160 a year to stream on your Portal. But that's your choice. I would say from the you don't need an Xbox Series X because every game is available on your gaming PC. I don't see what reason you would have to get that personally at this point. So I would go with the Steam Deck for multiple reasons. One, portability. I think you're going to find, Mark, that there's more opportunities to play than you think there will be. At least that's been the case for me with portable games. Is you kind of squeeze in this little bit of extra time. And also, if you're having a gaming PC, odds are you have Steam, and if you have Steam, odds are you have like 80% of your games are just unplayed, just sitting in your library that you bought on a Steam sale. So it might be there might be some Steam Deck verified games in there.
Like all those Star Wars games I bought.
Called out all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's all of us.
That's
man.
all of us.
Yeah.
I bought that pack of Star Wars games for like $15. I haven't even installed one of them.
Yeah. Hey, don't worry though. I downloaded a mod for KOTOR 2, so
yeah.
I got really far. But there's going to be some games like Hades where like it almost feels better on Steam Deck than it would sitting down for your big screen. Like there's just a couple games like that where they suit themselves well to portable play.
Mini Shoot Adventures.
I've heard great things about it. So yeah. So I would go with the Steam Deck for sure.
All right. There we go. We got let's see who's up. Alyssa.
Me. J. Henry writes, how important is narrative storytelling in modern video games? I'm going to be honest, I usually skip the story and go into multiplayer on most games other than Naughty Dog titles. I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign since I was a teenager. I'm 31 now.
Oh boy, I'm gonna say it depends on the person, but it's very important to me.
It's very important to me as well, which most people know I'm heavy into narratively driven stories, but
yeah, I mean, it depends on the game too. I mean, I just got done saying that I had issues with a game that I just reviewed that I have no idea what the narrative is. I'm having fun with it, so I'm okay to overlook it, but I would like to know what's going on in that game. You know what I mean? And I think someone in our community commented and said, wow, I'm just the opposite. I haven't touched a multiplayer in years and I just play the campaigns. Yeah. So, to each their own. But, narratives are very important to me. That's, it's a reason to play a game often, much like, why you read a book or why you watch a film is you want to see what happens in a story. I have to assume
that's the same for me. I need that escape. I need that story to really dig into and get into the character's shoes, and I just love a story. So if stories were in games, I probably wouldn't be gaming as much as I do. So it's very important for me for games to have narratives and for there to be narratively rich games.
Zach?
Not go Zach.
Okay. Boy. Anyway, yeah, narrative is essential. Even in multiplayer games I play like Hunt, I'm still investigating the lore and the world of that shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, yeah, pretty much necessitate a story of some kind, or at least like a fantasy to get lost in, or like an experience, like Splinter Cell multiplayer I played all the time, but that's because I wanted to feel like a spy. So even there, it was kind of a narrative in my head in some way. So yeah, narrative is essential. I can't imagine being into video games and not caring about narrative storytelling. But obviously to each their own. I mean, financially, Jay is right. It seems like all of the biggest games are free to play multiplayer shooters, or this year's Madden or Call of Duty. So it seems like to most people, it does not seem like narrative does matter, which is a shame, because that's why I come to video games. I think they tell better stories than any other medium.
All right, Jake, now you can talk.
So I am the outcast in this one. I am the exact opposite. I used to love multiplayer games, and I feel the quality of the multiplayer games have gone down, so I got out of them. But narration means absolutely zero to me. There can be your own personal narration. Project Zomboid starts the game off every time it loads in and says, "This is how you died," and that's the most narration you get in the game. And it's just you, as you play the game, you're making your own story of how you survived, how you lived up until the point that you died. I played probably 1,500 hours of that or more. I've put 4,000 hours into Factorio, which absolutely has no narration other than build a factory and get off the planet. I put probably 350 hours into Skyrim before I ever played any part of their narration, and then that was quick-lived and done. So no, I don't need the narration to play the games that I want to play. There's really no need for them, unless I'm building my own narration in my head. Doing this for me. I'm living. I'm finding new ways to survive. I'm doing that, whatever, or I'm trying to complete my apocalypse survival guide or whatnot. But other than that, I don't need a driving story to make sure that I reach the next level of what I'm trying to do. It's just I want to grow in the games that I'm playing. I want to grow stronger. I want to grow better. I want to do the things that I'm allowed to do in the games as well as I can. I don't need this, "Hey, listen," in the back of my head, making sure that I'm actually growing or doing the things that I want to be doing.
Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. I get it, though. There are games that I'm that way. I mean, a lot of run-based randomizers. I'm just doing it because I like the progression. You know what I mean? I'm not into it for the story. And I'm not saying that every game has to have a story, but I definitely do enjoy. I think it's still very, very vitally important for certain games. Not all of them, but yeah.
Right, but the best RBR is Hades, and that's all about the story.
Yeah, and the interactions.
Right.
Those are some great conversations. I got to get back to that. I had a great run, and I got to probably relearn the game at this point. But what a great game!
Yeah.
Last question, Zach. You want to take it?
Sure. David Newman writes in, "What is your wish list for 2025? Pick 3, and just has to be anything in the gaming industry. It doesn't have to be games."
I got my 3.
I forgot this was a question.
Well, it was added late, so you're forgiven. Are you excited, Scott?
Am I excited about my? Sure. You want me just to
rattle them off?
All right. First one is kind of a twofer, but Metroid Prime.
I want more Link.
Metroid Prime 2 and 3 coming to Switch. I want that to be a thing before Prime 4 comes out, and that's the second half of it. Is that Prime 4 is good because I'm very, very, very excited for that. Secondly, it's been one of my predictions for the past several years. It's kind of a joke at this point, but I would really love another 3D Ninja Gaiden game. Like,
yeah, sure, dude. Any year now.
Xbox 3. I just really would love to have another one of those. I say that, and I could just go play 2 because I never finished it, but 2 got hard, man. 2 was so hard, and 3 wasn't very good. And then lastly, I want a handheld Xbox, please. I want to be able to play Xbox games on the go like I can with my Switch. I know I could go install Game Pass or install Windows on my Steam Deck and do all that.
What are they going to name that?
What's that?
What are they going to name that?
I don't know.
Xbox Portable?
I'm sure it'll be convoluted and weird.
Yeah.
The Go Box.
They're going to call it the Xbox U.
So those are my 3 wish lists for 2025. Who's got 3 they'd like to share?
I've got 3.
Your Xbox Portable makes sense because you would also want your library, right? Not just Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, that would ideally, yes. I would like to have my. Well, I mean, and I'm mostly digital, so it would probably work for me. I don't know if I'd be able to run off of. I guess it's just a DRM thing, right? Your Xbox at home is just your DRM machine if you put a disc in.
Oh, to play a disc game on the go?
Yeah. But
yeah, I would think it would just be for digital titles.
Yeah.
But anyway, Alyssa, I'm sorry. You were about to say it.
Okay. Well, first off, I want a Chrono Trigger remake or remaster, whatever.
Aiming for the moon, I see.
Yeah. I know I say this every year, but I just want to play the game. And I want it on modern consoles, so that. I would love for them to port Deadly Premonition, the director's cut, to modern day consoles so I could replay that because I haven't played it since it was on PS3. And lastly, I want more K-drama video games because I loved Love Too Easily a lot. And there need to be more of them. I need it for my soul.
Okay. All right. What about you guys? Did you come up with 3?
Yeah, my number one wish is that when Grand Theft Auto 6 picks a release date, it doesn't move it, so that way when I request the week off of work, I don't have to look weird if I move it. So, no delay. That's whenever.
Also shooting for the moon.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'll be lucky if it comes out that year. Oh no, Jacob, go. I had one. What the hell was I gonna do?
So my top one would probably wanting Monster Hunter Wilds to not suck. It's probably gonna work, which is fine. But I'm kind of a snob when it comes to video games, and even more of a snob when it comes to Monster Hunter. So I don't know. We'll just see. I'm gonna get it no matter what anyway because it's got the prefix of a title that I love and hold dearly in my heart. But I'm probably still gonna dump like 150 hours into it, if not more. Just because I'm madly in love with that game, but we'll see when it comes out how well I rate it. But either way, it's still gonna happen.
All right.
I want Naughty Dog to finally pony up and start making Jak 4.
Okay.
There were a lot of rumors back in the day when The Last of Us overshadowed Jak 4, but Naughty Dog said that they didn't want to make a new Jak and Daxter game if it wasn't going to actually be Jak and Daxter, and it's been quite a few years, and they need to actually do it now.
Okay.
That would be fun. Two. I guess on a more personal note, I finally talked my wife into getting a copy of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and I need a Switch. I need to add another Switch to my library of increasingly.
Is that a really expensive game or something?
No, it's kind of hard to find. All the Monster Hunter games are small, and so there's not 100 of them out there everywhere. The people who want them have them. And there's
Gotcha.
not a lot of used ones out there. I did find one used one, and then it wasn't the Ultimate Edition. And so I looked at the GameStop guy and was like, well, sorry, no. and stormed out. But Nintendo was having a sale of them, and so I got 2 more copies of it. So I gave my kid one, and I got my wife one. So now I need to get another Switch to put it on it. Hopefully we can hunt as a family again.
Well, presumably the Switch 2 will be out, and it'll be backwards compatible, so you can do that.
Right? That'll be good. But I can't give my wife another hand-me-down. Just can't. Every year I get something new, and then I hand her the old one, and then she always gives me nonsense about it. The last big hand-me-down I gave her was I was looking to upgrade my computer, and I got all the specs for it, and I was making a very educated decision of which computer I wanted, and she went ahead and took my specs and bought me another computer. But the computer that she bought was not the computer that I was looking at, and then I wasn't exactly happy with the one that she got. And so she goes, well, fine, you go buy yours and I'll take your other one, like every other hand-me-down you give me. So
That's
I need
funny.
to I need to stop giving her hand-me-down consoles.
Zach, did you come up with another one?
Yeah, I wish for PlayStation to be severely humbled in a major way, where they actually have to like be a company that cares about people again. That would be good. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I guess that's why it's a wish. And then while doing long shots, I wish for Shenmue 4 to get announced. It's been long enough, right? It could happen.
That's a long
Yeah.
shot for sure.
They have a new publisher for Shenmue 3. I'm sure that means nothing.
Yeah,
It'd be great.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for the questions. It's always a great time. I do appreciate it. We have not determined next week's topic yet, so stay tuned to the socials for that. We will have it posted, and we'd love your responses so we can read them on the show. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Thanks so much for listening. This one, as always, was produced by Kevin Honigford. And all the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemmage and Metroid Metal. His website is stemmagemusic.com. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns, unless you are trying to sell me ad space on our website or asking to guest post. I'm getting like 15 of them a day. Please knock it off. But if you're not going to email that, the address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Jacob, any parting words or recommendations for our listeners?
So on the YouTubes, I'm a huge fan of Terminal Montage, and he just released a Christmas video game collaboration with a couple of people, going back to Kerbo and all that stuff. It's a Scrooge, what is that? A Christmas Carol with all of the basically Smash characters, humbling King DDD to making him a better person and share food. And it's all for charity. He's doing a American Hearts Association fundraiser, and so growing the heart is basically the key of the video, and he's running the fundraiser. So if that's something you want to look into, go over to YouTube and look up Terminal Montage.
Nice.
King DDD is straight up the kind of guy who would cancel Christmas, right? Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
no doubt.
Alyssa, how about you?
Okay, so it's not Korean this week.
Whoa.
I know. But Outlander is back, season 7, part 2, and it's only 2 episodes in so far, but they have been excellent, and my little Outlander Scottish loving heart is very happy right now.
I'll bet. Zach?
Have you got? I saw this movie Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Okay,
it is a movie with Clint Eastwood and Jeff Bridges from the early 70s. And this movie was a lot of fun. It's like the first. What's up?
It's a Western.
It's not.
It's not. I was gonna say it sounded a lot cooler than it actually is.
No, it's like a heist movie. Well, the first half is like a road trip movie where Clint Eastwood's character is getting shot after by a hitman, and Jeff Bridges' character just got done stealing a car. He's driving down the road. Clint Eastwood jumps out. He swerves. He kills the hitman, basically for Clint Eastwood. And then they just kind of hit the road together and do some crimes, because Clint Eastwood's just showing him how to do crimes, because Jeff Bridges is a younger guy and he wants to learn from him. And then it kind of veers into a heist movie in the second half where they're trying to hit, an armory, and it's really a lot of fun. And then, but what really sticks with you is that the ending is unbelievably sad, which you don't see coming, because the movie is pretty lighthearted until then. But boy, it's a kind of a depressing ending. But it's a very good movie. Kind of came out of nowhere for me. I've never seen Clint Eastwood smile so much. It just seems like he's having an absolute blast with Jeff Bridges.
I don't know if I've ever seen him smile.
Dude,
I don't think I have.
He is smiling and laughing almost the entire run of this movie. It's almost jarring to see.
I was going to say, that sounds off-putting.
Yeah.
But he's having a good time. And Jeff Bridges is so much fun as like this motor-mouthed young hippie kid
How old is this movie?
1974, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Jeff
like,
Bridges was pretty young.
yeah, he would,
Mhm.
he'd probably be in his 20s, right?
Wow.
50 years ago.
Where did you see this? Is it streaming anywhere, or did you purchase it, or?
It was recommended to me from a guy at work, so I got it off of eBay for like $4,
Oh, nice.
Blu-ray. So it's not hard to find there, but highly recommended. It's definitely a movie I hadn't heard of before, but I think it's gonna stick with me. It was a lot of fun.
Nice. I got a quick one. I just started a new audiobook. Actually, my last, if you remember at the beginning of the year, I bought 12, like on Apple or Audible, excuse me. They had a deal where at Black Friday where if you bought a year's worth of books, you got 2 books free. And I this week used the 12th one of that. So I'm now out of Audible credits. And I spent it on, you know how I love to listen to a book that was made into a movie and then listen to the book and then go watch the movie?
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
never read the book nor watched the film Divergent. So I started listening to Divergent. I want to see what all the
Okay.
hype is,
a little
about.
YA action.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been doing dystopian stuff in my ELA class at school, and that one was actually on my shelf, and I actually started reading it, but we got away from having time to read in class, so I just decided to do the audiobook, and it's only like 11 hours, and apparently there's like 3 or 4 other books in the series or something like that. So who knows?
3.
3.
Mhm.
So
So
I have
you
no
liking
idea
it?
where it's going at all. Like I don't
Okay.
even really understand the purpose at this point. Like it's not a very well defined dystopia. But
Not yet.
hopefully,
It's still early.
that's what I'm saying. I'm only like 3 or 4 hours
Mm-hmm.
in, so we'll see how it goes. But well, that was a fun time, guys. Thanks so much, Jake, for being here. Alyssa, thanks for being here, and Zach, appreciate it. It's good talking with you guys. Looking forward to next week already. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson, Alyssa White, and Jacob Gunderson, and we are the Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.